Hello, everybody. So, welcome to Indoor Tuesday, the second installment of the second full week, so week 3. So, what we're going to be doing today is 2 different indoor percussion shows, and the hosts that will be here today are Gavin Ray, that's me, Jaelyn Bray, Mitchell Urban, and Owen Kensky. And yeah, without further ado, we'll get started. So, of course, the auditions are coming up. We got 6 pieces. We're playing some 6 baller pieces that you guys got to go get ready for the audition for. So, without further ado, the first group we are doing today is Broken City Percussion 2019. And, we'll start with the question. So, if anyone wants to answer this, they can. So, my question is, how do you think this indoor percussion group and show would fare against a wind or guard indoor show?
Well, in my opinion, guard is just all visual. They don't necessarily make any music. It's all about the selection of what they're doing their choreo to. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's very fair to compare indoor percussion to indoor guard. But indoor winds is very interesting. Playing in a gym is very loud and there's a lot of echo, very quick feedback, and it echoes a lot. So when you're talking about drums when you're talking about drums, there's not a whole lot of melodic content to pick out. Maybe something in the quads. Now there's stuff in the front, but because of the nature of the instruments, it just works a little differently. But with winds, you play that melody out, and then there's so much echo and reverberation back. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the biggest fan of indoor winds just because they can't really give all their full power, which is something that I really like when listening to a wind section, or at least a horn line.
I agree. I think a lot of the stuff that these groups would have in common is mainly just drill and possible choreography. You can't really compare the music aspect because for indoor color guard, you sometimes have a vocalist, because I know we had a vocalist one year for our Mother, I think it was last year in 2018. It was that show that we did, 2018 and 19. But, Owen, I'll hand it off to you to ask your question.
All right.
This might be something Jaelyn can answer.
So, Jaelyn, how do you think the front will do in the show?
So for Broken City, they have a much more basic front ensemble, I would say. Their type of setup is a lot of what you see in marching band shows out on fields, which I do like. And they just do the basic, marimbas in the front, vibes, auxiliary, no extra, Tiffany drum set stuff going on. So I do like that, and they probably work a lot more with electronics, stuff like that. So I like those types of shows a lot. I think it'll be good. And then my question is, how do you think the forms will look, and how do you think they'll compare to BOA and DCI form?
Mitchell, you want to say something on that?
Sure. I'm going to be completely honest. I really am not certain because I've never really seen... Okay, I've seen, indoor percussion shows once or twice, actually. I went to my first indoor percussion competition this winter, and that was cool, but... I don't know. I think it's a lot of follow the leader, at least what I saw. But I don't know. I'm kind of a newbie at this type of competition.
Thanks.
So I'm going to move on to my question now. How do we think the actual drum line will sound?
You want to take that away there, Owen?
Well, when you get to the upper levels of these world-class indoor groups, they're phenomenal. They're so clean. They always have to be clean. If you're not clean, then you can't really be counted in the competition with the rest of world class. So they're gonna sound good. So I think mostly the bigger question is, how will they interpret the compositions that they're given? So will it just be here's the sheets, let's play this rhythm, or will it be let's have this rhythm how is it a motif in the show, and how are we going to use it throughout the show? So I think a lot of it is a question of how will they connect their music to the theme and the props and the melody and the front ensemble versus will they not do that?
I agree.
I also just want to say I'm very excited about their bass line. Their bass line's amazing. Their splits.
I don't know much about baseline splits, but I've just
Neither
heard that
do
it's
I.
a very hard
Very
thing
difficult.
to do. It's very difficult to do correctly. Well, Owen, if you
Being
have something.
someone who has to play those like upbeats on like the 64th notes going down,
Mhm.
like it is hard. It's really hard to get it to time well. And
Yeah.
being able to pull that off successfully it sounds so cool, and like it feels even cooler.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. So, Mitchell and I will be doing visual for both this group and the next group, and Jaelyn and Owen will be doing music because, of course, they are percussionists. So, without further ado, we're going to split off and we're going to do our judge tapes. Okay, hello everybody. So, I'm Gavin. This is my visual tape for Broken City 2019. Oh, it's loud. Broken City. Let's go. So I'm doing visual since I'm not a percussion genius like those other two, so let's see. I like the prop setup. I do like the drum covers as well. The bassists seem to know what they're doing there. Their technique is the same. Nice. Nice drill, nice technique. You guys looked uniform during that. That was great. The diagonals, great. You guys are doing some nice movement. And snares are there. Someone was a little bit behind on the turns there. The stick heights look the same height, so that's good. Front ensemble, can't really say anything about them since they don't move. Oh, there's the tenors. Here we go. And cymbal line. Heck yeah. Cymbal line, nice technique. Everyone, nice technique. Tenors getting out there. Great. Ooh, that was a cool turn. Nice turn. Nice set. The spacing is good. You guys are very tall. I can tell. Like the tenors are standing up there, very broad and up there, tall, and same with the snares. And you know, all of you guys look tall. So even the shortest people look tall. So that's great. Nice turnaround. Bass 5. Oh, that's cool. Nice, nice. Watch the spacing when you guys are going to circle their stairs. That was a cool way to get up. Interesting set, but I like it. There we go. quad feature. Nice. That's cool, little drum movement. Nice movement. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. Quads are in line. That's good. Oh, everyone's going in the baby position now. Their cymbals are on the ground. Seems consistent spacing. I can't see the full form right now, but everyone looks good. The snares, nice. Everyone's arms look the same. Some of you are a little bit straighter than others when you guys get up there. I don't think it was just because some people are taller. They're getting the drums back on. Nice bass form. I think the audio is great with it, so I'm not going to take any points for composition off. Make sure that angle your back cymbal line is all the same. Nice. Is that the end? I'm not sure. They're still up, so I don't think so. No, they got one more. That was a good set, though. People leaving sequentially. Sort of like a scatter set I see going on. We're all crawling to the middle. Oh, even the front ensemble, I didn't even realize that. Oh, little cello. It's a cool show. Yeah, I like that. That was a cool show. Yeah, I'm not going to take much off, actually. That was a great performance, so there's nothing really wrong with it. I would just say just some inconsistencies with spacing sometimes, and just overall, you guys did a great job. So I'm going to give you 94 out of 100 there. So yeah, that's my visual tape. Great job, everybody. All right. Hello, everyone. So today we are going to be talking about Broken City and reviewing Broken City Percussion 2019. So I don't know much about indoor percussion. I went to my first competition at a local one about 20 minutes away from my house to go see a friend this winter, and I thought it was really cool. He plays cymbals, so I really thought cymbal lines are cool, and I think that they should be incorporated into field shows again. But anyways, that's besides the point. So I'm going to be doing visual today for Broken City, so let's see. I'm curious to see what happens.
The Beach Guys Sport of the Arts is proud to present Broken City.
That's really difficult. It looks really difficult because you're swinging around with a big bass drum on your harness. Interesting. Everything looked similar. Interesting dance little choreography there. Everything looks uniform, which is really good. I think that's a really big defining quality of this WGI is the choreography. It looks all clean though. The marching was pretty darn solid. And there are the cymbals. Flipping them just so cool to me. Really nice technique, sideways. Everything just looks so uniform. Like the cymbals are all in time, movement-wise. Snares are all in time, movement-wise. And quads are movement-wise. And then the basses are just killing it. A little bit of a spacing issue, I think. Never mind, we're fine. Really nice spacing. I think that this is a really cool. And the cymbals, I love what they do. I love how they flip them. I just am amazed how they can move their body with the bass drums on their harnesses. That's just awesome to see because it takes a lot of body composure and control to be able to do those kind of body movements. Really cool. They're just all in time. I can't really penalize anything. I don't think that I see anything really out of the normal, out of timing wise at least. And all the style looks very, very, very similar. It just looks like a group that knows what they're doing. And Broken City, from what I can tell, is a really strong WGI percussion group. interesting how they're moving on the tarp with those snare drums, and they're still playing too. And there's the cymbal flips. Those are cool. And they're all just uniformly in time with the crab step. Wow. That's cool. Interesting. Huh. Oh, there's a string bass. Or cello or something like that. Huh. Awesome. That was cool. I really didn't have anything to pick out visual wise. I think they were all really they had a really well done book, at least visually and musically. I could say the same thing, but that's not my area that I'm covering today. But overall, I can see why they're a top group in WGI Percussion. That was outstanding. So now we're going to turn it over to the music side of things.
Hi, this is Jaelyn judging the music for Broken City. I'm so excited for their bass line. Oh my gosh, their splits are amazing. I believe that's a voiceover or part of a synth. It goes really well with the bass line music. You can just see their hands go perfectly in line. It's great. The vibe's coming in now, and then the rest of the front ensemble. They move so well together. These little roll parts work really well with a voiceover, for sure. Snare line coming in. Beautiful dynamics. There is 9 of them. 9 snares playing together. It's very hard to control. Great dynamics on the front ensemble part. I love the little hints of the bell kit and Xylo on the top. Tenor's coming in now. Really in time, moving perfectly together. Front ensemble and tenors are together. This build up here is amazing. It is very hard to play indoor percussion because it is so boomy. But they seem to handle it quite well. Those rolls seemed a little apart. Right there was so clean. You can just see it in their hands. Haven't really heard a cymbal line part yet. I'm hoping that they have something like that in here soon. There's a tenor feature. That was beautiful. The front ensemble rolls are seriously together. I believe they have a cello player as well in their front ensemble. I did not expect that from Broken City. There we go. We can finally hear some of the marimbas. It is harder to hear marimba playing inside a dome like this. All of the parts work together really well. Still haven't felt like that hit yet. The front's technique is beautiful. The way they move their bodies is very important. They do this really well. It's really awesome to watch. The tenor feature here. Yes! The voiceover actually worked really well with the parts. Sometimes voiceovers in domes like this can be way too boomy. You can't hear it. It doesn't work. But it added to this piece. That detail together was great. It sounded like at the end if they were a little off, but I believe that was just the echo from the dome. Happens a lot. Like the little bell and xylo part here. Again, adding that orchestra into the front ensemble. Very interesting. Overall, beautiful run. Really loved it. Never really got that big hit, but probably because I'm watching on video, not inside the dome. It was really great.
I'm Owen Kensky, judging Broken City 2019 on music.
The BGI Sport of the Arts is proud to present Broken City.
Starting off strong with some good dynamics on the basses. Being able to work up and down the drums very well. Yeah, really good control in the timing and the dynamics on the basses. Very good work there. Good control between the stops and the laterals on the marimbas. Nice metric modulation, being able to stay together through all of that on the snares. Nice melodic content, setting the stage for the drumline in the pit. Good control and togetherness on that roll. The melodic content in the pit seems to be fitting well with the basses and the cymbals, but the snares and quads feel a little isolated from the runs and licks that they're having. Pit backing out of the way for what I'm assuming is going to be the snare feature. The environment playing in, being a gym, it's somewhat hard to determine clarity and cleanliness in a snare line, but even harder so in the quads, but that seemed very good. Visually, the sticks were moving together. Strong together body movement on those heavy quarter notes during this bass feature here. Losing the top bass, taking the bass off, leaving just the bottom four. I like the transition between the samples and the and going to the runs and the marimbas and the other keyboards. Slight cymbal feature there. Cymbal features are very hard to accurately do well, and that was very nice. good interaction with the samples in the full ensemble. It's very accurately replicating the dynamics seen in the samples. Bringing a lot of energy with the music here. Those accents very together. Metric breakdown. Stayed together the entire time. Stayed relatively clean as well. Cello soloist at the end. Ending off the show. Or yeah, nice run. The complements between the melodic content in the pit really interacted well with what the battery was doing, something that you don't see in a lot of shows, something that is expected in the world class division though. The bass starting the show strong and ending it just as strong, keeping the content the entire time. The samples, I'm personally not a big fan of samples, but the execution here was done very well. It was a very good show.
Okay, so welcome back from the judge tape. So we're going to start with the music comments first, so we'll hand it off to Jaelyn to go ahead first.
Okay, hi. So first off, I gave them a score of 94 out of 100 on composition because for the most part, I never got a big hit that I was looking forward to. It kind of almost felt like a ballad the whole time. There were a lot of cool tenor parts, bass line splits, snare features, stuff like that. Didn't ever really hear a big front ensemble feature, nothing really substantial there. There was never a cymbal line feature. I was kind of sad about that. And then I never really got the theme, anything like that. But then I did give them a 100 out of 100 for performance quality because it was super cool. The musicianship, rhythmic clarity, everything going together really well fit. So, yeah. Owen?
Yeah, I mean, I gave them a lot less in the composition area. I gave them an 84 in composition just because it was lacking so much in terms of how does it interact with the drill, where's the hit, where's all of the features for each individual section. It didn't seem like there was consistent, like, here's more of a ballad or here's like a super intense closer. They did have like a soft finish out to the show, which I did appreciate because that kind of parallels with the soft intro. But it seemed to lack that traditional feeling that you want to hear when you listen to an indoor show. In terms of performance quality, I gave them a 97 out of 100. It was very well executed. I mean, it was a record-setting show. It was phenomenally done. I just really wish that there was more given to them, more like sustenance in terms of the music.
Okay, so for visual, I gave them 100 in composition because I liked like the forms. The forms were great. They had some inconsistencies, that goes into performance quality, but like the design, the principles of the design, all the movement and motions, it all worked. I liked a lot of their like movements they did on the ground because that's got to be really hard to do with like a 45-pound tenor drum. Then for performance quality, I gave them a 94 out of 100 just because some angles were a little bit iffy. Their uniformity, they had some great uniformity, but then sometimes when their backs were angled back, they weren't all the same. So I took a couple points off for uniformity, and just the snare line went in this circle thing, and they did not maintain spacing as well as they probably could have. But so I took a point off for that. But those are my comments for visual. So go on to Mitchell.
All right. So for the visual composition, I gave it a 98 out of 100 because I really didn't have much to comment on because I really enjoyed it. Their visual package, what they did. I mean, there were a couple things I didn't really like, or I didn't really think as. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more aggressive at some points. Like I wanted to see more emotion, like more getting into it, really. And then performance quality, but that's it. Performance quality, I gave it 100. I really didn't see. They were all in time. There was a uniformity. There wasn't enough that I could take points off of for it. I feel like that they did a really, really, really good job. So
okay, so you can go on to your question now.
Oh yeah, that's right. So, all right. How is the theme portrayed?
Okay, well, personally, I could not figure out the theme, and I know Jaelyn said something about that as well.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it was.
I mean, the only thing I could really figure out with what they did when their bass one took off her drum and then walked towards a prop, which I thought was a speaker at first, but it wasn't. And then there were also these light bulbs in the front that I completely didn't see until the very end of the show when they're all on the ground and then one person walks over. I mean, that's what I thought it was at first, but no. But I mean, I couldn't really gather any theme at all. There's all these little things, but none of them really make any coherent sense.
Right. The voiceover I thought would have helped a little more than it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go on to yours.
Yeah. How did the props look and go with the theme?
I really didn't know the theme, and I really couldn't tell it from the props, so
I saw the same. I thought ghost light because I saw the lights as soon as it started. I'm like, is this like a ghost light type of show? So I didn't really understand anything, but I heard lightning sound effects. I guess the props went with the theme of the show, but that's just how I saw it. But the music. This is for mainly Jaelyn and Owen. I know you said our music comments, but. The standard, what standard do you think they, set with that performance?
I think that they had a heavy focus on cleanliness and being together, making sure they're all playing the same rhythm. And they did a very good job of that. Very good. I mean, they set records in WGI for high scores. And, I mean, it shows. They did a very good job executing music-wise. So I think they set a very good example of what a clean drum line should sound like. Right. Being able to demonstrate control throughout the entire dynamic range and also while doing body movements. And I feel like they were kind of pushing the limits of the body movements you can do while playing that complex book.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I said a lot about that actually on my tape. With the body and how that interacted with the playing.
Yeah. And the next point here, how were the costumes? And I want to say how would they relate to the theme, but again, there's not much theme to discern. So
I mean, I liked the costumes. I did like the covers that they had on the drums as well. It fit whatever theme they were trying to portray with the tarp. It's just the costumes, I wasn't really paying attention to the costumes that much. I don't know if Mitchell did more, but I was focusing more on
Not really.
I mean, I think the costumes could have popped out a little bit more probably if it didn't catch our eye. So, that's sort of, we'll call it there for Broken City. So, we'll have Owen introduce our next group. So, go on ahead, Owen.
So, the next group is Pulse Percussion 2019. they had the theme of Divided We Fall, which is very interesting prop usage and drill writing incorporated into that theme. Something you're going to be able to tell right off the bat from even just the very first positioning of the prop. So let's talk about that show.
Okay, so I'll start off with the question. So, like we said with Broken City, how do you think this show... we don't need to go over that question. We sort of discussed that before. Okay, Owen, you go on to your question instead.
So how will the front do?
I think Jaelyn's on mute, so it's
Personally, I'm excited for the incorporation of the timpani. I really love it whenever front puts something like that in, and I know for sure that they do have a drum set in this front ensemble. I hope they work that in as well, and I'm absolutely positive the rest of their front is strong.
Okay.
So how do we think the forms will look, and how will they compare to BOA and DCI forms?
I'll take it first this time, Mitchell. So I think these are always top percussion groups that we get to judge at first, and just indoor groups in general. So I think the groups will obviously be at a high, the forms will be at a high level, but I think just obviously compressed since they don't have as many players. And Owen has his hand raised, so yes, Owen.
I mean, so when you're talking about BOA and DCI, they're obviously performing on the football field where you have line markers and hash marks. So you're able to have some kind of reference point. But when it comes to indoor, all you have is either the tarp or the or a prop or the person next to you. So everything's very dependent on its surroundings. Like if one person is just like a step off this corner of the prop, then this will be that step off. And then if the line isn't very good at addressing forms, then it'll just get even worse from there. And sometimes you have someone who will try to adjust to the prop instead of the form, and then things get thrown off. But it's very interesting to see how a high-level group takes the initiative to be able to, even without those markings or reference points, being able to have solid lines and diagonals and circles and like really hard to dress forms throughout their show.
Yeah, I've always wondered how people do it on like the winter shows. How do they figure out where they're like? Obviously, you don't have hash marks or yard markers or dots on your field, but I've always wondered how they hit the forms and how they know what it's supposed to look like. That just seems so foreign to me.
Yeah, I mean, a large part of it is muscle memory as well.
Right.
Just they spend hours just grinding these forms in.
Right.
So it's just like how you have muscle memory with your fingerings on your instrument. They have muscle memory with this is the step size, this is the number of steps, and they don't even have to think about it. They can just run the drill of their show just
right
in their head. And then because they're such top of the line performers, they can just hit it accurately.
I remember Mitchell saying something when we did the first show choir Thursday, which you'll see in 2 days, but he asked that same question, like, how do they do it? And personally, like, we use a number line, and you two are going to ask that same question, I guarantee, when we get the opportunity to record that. So every group has their way of, like, it's always dependent. Like, in marching band and DCI, you have your dots, but you also got to depend on the form. Indoor, you got to depend on the tarp or the prop. You got to depend on certain things, and I'm pretty sure indoor groups put like a tape piece that matches it so they can see. So that's sort of what we do with marching band when we have a tarp. If we want to have like the gack still there, we just put a little piece of tape there. So, Mitchell, you got that last question, so you can go on ahead there.
So, how do we think the actual drum line will sound?
Anyone want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take it. I've always been a big fan of Pulse, just because, I mean, I don't know. They had a cool name, so I was kind of attracted to that at first when I was first getting myself into the WGI scene. But then just the way that they execute and carry themselves in lots and in performances, you can really just see the drive on everyone's face to perform well. And when you have that drive to do well, you will do well. Like, they put in the effort. They put in more than enough effort. They make their line clean. They sound together. They take their music and they make it something else. And it's so good to hear a solid group like that. One of the top of the line groups. Like, you think of the big indoor percussion names, Pulse, Broken City, UP, like, it's one of the top ones that are up there. So, I mean, I think that they will be very clean, very good.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, Mitchell and I will do visual again, and Owen and Jaelyn will go do the music. So catch you guys after the judge tapes. Okay guys, so welcome to Pulse Percussion. I'm the visual judge. Oh, I do like that table in the middle and the prop design. Like the props. That's a cool use of the table with all the sequentials and slamming on there. That's cool. You guys have some great designs, so I'm not going to take anything off for designs, obviously. Chairs, okay, that's cool. And here they go. The cymbal line looks great, tenors. You guys are all uniform, that's awesome. Oh, watch that little tenor. You guys, one of those drums to be the same angle. Just one guy was a little off. Watch that angle. I like how the front ensemble is sort of like in a V. Ooh, nice basses. Great overall movement there, basses, and you guys have good spacing, great spacing. You guys are pretty accurate with these forms. Nice. I like the use of the chairs. Those snares, that form looks great. And nothing I can say about that. That lift, the foot lift is great. Oh, clean hit there. Very accurate and hit that dot right when you needed to. At the table again. Well, watch that leg in the back there. Make sure your legs are the same there. The people at the table. And all four lines looking at each other. Oh, the table's moving, okay. I don't know if those are supposed to be straight lines, so I'm not going to take points off. Oh, that's a cool little blend of all the lines there. That was cool. Oh no, somebody dropped their cymbal. Oh no, man. It's just in the middle of the floor, dropped cymbal. That's rough. He's still committing though, so that's a great recovery from error, and they just stepped on their backs. Nice. Now he has to go the whole show without a cymbal. Oh, see, they're nice. Great recoveries and avoiding it. Like the people doing the drill are avoiding the cymbals, and the guy without the cymbal is still playing. He doesn't look any different. Besides, when he turns over, he just doesn't have a cymbal. The nice lines. Oh, they all connect to that? That's cool. Oh, they all changed drums. I was focused on the cymbal. I didn't see that. Oh, he picked up his cymbal. So obviously that was a bit of a uniformity thing there. Nice little snare solo. On the table. Oh, the table's breaking apart now. Please don't tell me they move him. Oh, yes they do. Okay. Nice use of the chairs. This sort of reminds me of our show, like Revolution Remix. It's about like the peace and love and rebelling. Yeah, that table would have hit that cymbal if that table was still there, or the cymbal was still there. Oh, that's a cool move. Movement looks the same. That's good. Must be a little bit of session 44 just with all the chairs. Nice. Tenor drums, they're back. Oh, the chair's all pointed at them. Now, tenor feature. Nice drill. Watch that foot placement. Uniformity. Nice. Basses are back. Nice bass switch, that was cool. They're using the chairs as drill, and that's cool. Snares and cymbals are back. Just let's hope he gets to keep his cymbal this time. Yeah. Here we go. We're on the last stretch now. Nice turn. Watch that line there. Snares. Cover down. Nice block there. Tenors and cymbals. Back on the tables put together. Oh, everyone put their stuff down, they're running back to the table. That was cool. That was a very cool show. Enjoyed that. Very interesting. I don't know if it was more of a storyline or a theme, but we'll probably talk with the other judges about that. So overall great. Gave you guys a 96 in performance quality and 100 in composition. I liked all the elements of design, so great.
Hello. All right, so now we're going to be doing Pulse Percussion 2019 show. Trying to exactly remember what it's about. I'm kind of blanking here, but Divided We Fall, that's what it's called. Okay, interesting. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. Interesting little props. Like a table. Very well done timing-wise in the ripple. Very uniform. Interesting. So everything all looks super clean and visually wise, marching wise. I think that they all look really darn solid. It's an interesting little prop, that table. I don't know what exactly. Snare drums are really killing it. There's a snare feature. Wow, cool. So they roll under the table. Huh. And then the table spins. Shifts planes. Huh. That's cool. Oh, there's the cymbals. The flipping. That's so cool. Love that. Visually, like, in step, I really can't point out anything that outstanding, like, timing-wise. I think they're all just right in time. They're locked in. And the cymbals doing their cool flips again. I can really feel the emotion and just the vibes that they're giving off. They're so serious about this and they're into it. Oh. So they all went to snares? Or they all went to a single drum. Nice. Interesting. That's cool. This is cool. This is really cool. They're all over the place, but it's really cool. I like what they do. And there's a single snare player featured. Oh, and the table split apart. Huh. Intriguing. And they're moving. I like how they move. I like how they're able to move the props around the entire tarp. Like, I think that's a cool little feature that not many groups do. They have their props central or they're on each side of the tarp, but these move. Interesting little choreography. And then they're featuring the front ensemble. Oh, and someone's on someone's shoulders. quads make their way through the performers. And now here's a quad feature front and center. Cool. Really uniform bases. I mean, their marching is just pretty spot on. I don't see anything really wrong with it. And the table spins again. Huh. I love what they do with this. I think the table prop, I think that's really cool. Interesting body. From the performers in the middle on the table. Now here's a big dance or something like that. All confront on the center prop. Interesting. Well, I think that was a really cool performance, and obviously I know I'm pretty new at this, so I really don't have much to say. But as I have a feeling that as I get more accustomed to doing these shows, I think I'll be able to be a little bit more detailed, but from what I could see just as a spectator, just as myself, that I think it was really well done, and I think they performed it very well. So on that note, we're going to turn it back to the other host and see what they thought.
Hi, this is Jaelyn listening to Pulse Percussion 2019. I love little intros like this with the voiceovers and the combination of the front ensemble. The drum set is really interesting in this beginning. That little drum part there is just the drum set. I love these front runs. They're definitely beautiful. This show seems a lot more put together. An incorporation of all the parts. This front ensemble is huge. Love the tenor part here in combination with the cymbals. Wow. That feature was really beautiful. The dynamics on that. Here comes the snares. Their combination with the front ensemble there was really great. Bass line splits were amazing, of course. I really like this back and forth between the two different sides of the front ensemble. The camera here, actually, this video, they keep moving back and forth to see the other sides. It's really interesting. Forte piano there was great. Yes, big snare hits are amazing. Especially with high-level groups like this, you know they're doing it right. You definitely get the theme incorporated here with the split sides and them going back and forth between the different sides of the band. Love front ensemble features. The drum set is just going at it. It's amazing. The cymbals actually add a lot to this part, to this show. The little sizzles are perfectly in time, along with their mutes. Front runs like that are so much fun. Yes, the cleanliness there between the tenors and the snare together, along with the bass drums, works so well. Love a cymbal line feature, especially with the tones of the front ensemble. It works really well. It's not just on its own. I do really like how the xylophone pops out. The marimba's really strong here. Sometimes you can't ever hear how strong a front ensemble line is together whenever they're split like this, but it really works well. The voiceovers work really well with the rest of the band. They just kind of lay over. It's not all focused on it, which is interesting. That snare solo was amazing. You can definitely see the clear transition into a ballad. Great. Yes. Marimbas move very well together here. Timpani just laying some underlying notes. Very interesting how one side of the front ensemble has a lot of runs while the others have chords. It does work really well here. Those runs were beautiful. This drum set does a lot more for the front ensemble than you would think. Especially during this ballad, while none of the drum line is playing, it adds those little cymbal parts, bass drum parts, stuff like that. And that tom part, for sure. The drum set does it again. Here comes the tenors, though. They move so well together. Man, that was amazing. You don't really see, there's 4 tenors, unlike other drum lines usually have a little bit more in different classes like this, but they work really well together, and it leaves less room for error, of course. Again, the connection between the front ensemble and cymbals and snares is really good. You definitely get the emotion and theme from this piece. The build-up. There we go. Again, the front ensemble and drum line perfectly in time with each other. You can just feel how much emotion is in this piece compared to the other one we just judged. The timpani has a little part here. Beautiful show. I really loved it. That was so great to watch.
My name is Owen Kensky, and I will be judging music for Pulse Percussion 2019. Strong start on the pit, being together with those crescendoing runs. The drum set being a very nice texture here. Very nice tenor feature there. Really love that Spock roll at the end. Done clean too. Ooh, solid bass splits there, done very well. Snare feature executed cleanly the entire time. Very nice there. Yeah, the pit interacting with the hits in the drum line and the drum set adding a very nice texture overall to everything. Giving a different feel, but still a battery heavy taste. Cymbal feature executed very nicely. The drumline switching to these floor toms they have attached to the prop. Adding a different texture, also providing a lot more visual opportunity. anvil hits complementing that snare solo very well. Very choppy piece right there. The timpani adding a very nice section here. Very, very interesting texture to this section. Very tasteful too. Not overdone, not too little. Just enough to hear it well. Nice split runs being passed between the marimbas very well, creating a very nice texture overall. Keeping that same sound like it's coming from one player, but passed between multiple. It's executed very well. The battery exiting the scene in that was very nice, gave a very good chance for the front to come out, and they came out very well. Very good use of their textures and abilities. The choice of Imagine in the dark, in a very dark and minor tone aids to the kind of division of people as the theme, complementing that very well. Adding an aggressive tone. Of course, the battery pulling with that. Lots of just raw intensity and power there. Yeah, very good show. The usage of the samples interacting with the theme, being able to have the players interact with that as well. Very strong use of changing timbres with the drum line going to those floor toms was very nice, and having them on the prop as well, giving a very mobile ability to the line, still being able to move around while not harnessed in. That gave some free movement that I really enjoyed visually. The usage of timpani was a very nice texture, something not seen, not demonstrated as well in other shows as it was in this one. The drum set being a very nice texture to add in as well. The fills being strong and present when they needed to be, carrying and adding a lot to the tone. I very much enjoyed that show.
Okay, everybody, so welcome back from the judge tape. So, like we did for Broken City, we'll go with Jaelyn for music. So go on ahead, Jaelyn.
Yeah. Okay, so I really loved it. The piece altogether, it worked really well with the theme. You got all the variety of the different sections. You got a cymbal line feature, snare, front ensemble. It was really great. Love to hear it. There were some points, so I gave that 100 for the composition. But for the performance quality, it was obviously amazing. The musicianship, the way they moved together, the way they worked together, the sound projection, the sound effects and voiceovers were really clean and worked well with the piece. There were just a few points that weren't, perfectly clean. So I gave that a 97 out of 100, but overall it was really fun to watch. Owen?
For composition, I gave them a 92 out of 100. I really enjoyed how the front was interacting with the drum line and how the drum line was interacting within itself between the subsections. The only thing I would look for more of would be more melodic content throughout the entire show. I felt like if the pit wasn't having like their feature, or if they weren't directly playing the melody that accompanies the vocal samples, then I feel like they weren't playing much melody at all. Maybe some like block chords every now and then. So that's why I gave them a 92 on composition. On performance quality, I gave them a 96 out of 100. The energy that was brought was just phenomenal. The lines were clean. The textures on the timpani and the drum set were very nice to hear. Those were done very tastefully too. I really enjoyed that show overall.
Okay, so for visual, I gave them composition-wise 100 and performance quality a 96. So overall, I think they just had a great design element, and they nailed their spots. I have nothing really to say about spacing, actually. Like, I saw consistent spacing, and I think the only issue I saw was just sometimes in the movement, they weren't the same level, or they just weren't the same angle, and that's just what I picked out. And then I hope everyone else caught that, somebody dropped a cymbal. Somebody dropped a cymbal in the show, and they were running around without a cymbal. Mitchell's eyes, did you not notice that?
No, I didn't.
Exactly, because he played it off fine. But I just heard
it's like that crown drummer, that one video where the crown drummer loses his drum and the judge comes and runs back and gives it to him, but he's still there just rocking out without his drum.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm judging music, I'll often close my eyes because I get distracted with how much visual is going on. And there was so much visual in this show, so I would close my eyes a lot. And I thought I heard a cymbal crash that didn't fit, like a very soft one. I was like, that sounded like a plate falling. Because, I mean, I've been there. I've dropped a cymbal before.
It dropped.
Either because, like, the strap snapped or I'm just stupid and I don't hold it right or something. But
I would love to play cymbals.
Oh, it's a good time.
That's so cool. Like, the flipping, like, so cool.
Your hands get a little destroyed, but other than that.
That's why we have the gloves. That's why there's the gloves.
Yes.
Okay, so Mitchell, go on with your comments.
All right, so contrary to Gavin, I didn't see that cymbal drop. So other than that, I gave them composition-wise, I gave them a 99. I loved it. I think it was super cool. I think the visual elements of it were just really, they were there for sure. They brought it that night. And then performance quality, I gave it 100 because I really couldn't pick out anything wrong. I think the spacing was great. The vibe they gave off was just perfect. I think that's what you look for in the performance. And just overall, like, uniformity, I think it was great. The body was very, very, very well timed, as well as like the ensemble cohesiveness, perfect. I couldn't say anything bad about it. So for that reason, I gave him 100. So 99 and 100.
Okay, so you can lead us in with that question now.
All right. So how's the theme portrayed? I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on this because I still don't really understand it all that well.
Come on, Owen. Owen's happy. Tell us.
I love it when a show has a theme that they execute extremely well, and you can obviously see what it is, and it's represented in all elements, in the music, in the visual, in the drill, in the facial expressions. Just everything about this show helped the theme so much. And from the name of the show,
Divide We Fall, I got that much, but I don't really...
So it's talking about this divide between the members of the drum line, at least on a surface level. they start the show each on their own sides of the table,
Right.
kind of table prop, and then they split off, go to their drums. And they're, if you noticed musically, they were always, one side was playing at a time. It was like they were having a conversation, but it was hostile. It was like an argument. And then you get to the more into the middle.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah,
That's
and the prop
cool.
splits apart and they start to merge together. But then they realize that that's tense and they don't like it, so they split back apart and they end the show like running at each other aggressively.
Okay.
And the sample of that cover of Imagine,
Right.
Imagine is a very warm, like major song. This had that twist and
We're
that
talking like
minor.
Imagine by like John Lennon, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But-
Well, it wasn't, that version wasn't by John Lennon. It was a cover, but
Right.
and it was done differently composition wise too. It was more minor. It was more
Right.
more tense and more argumentative. It didn't necessarily sit right, no matter how you listen to it, and that helped the theme so much because that's exactly what the theme's talking about. It's talking about these two different groups of people that you're trying to bring together, but it just doesn't work out.
Makes sense. Let's move on to Jalen's question.
Yeah, so how did the props look and go with the theme?
Now that I actually know the theme and like understand it, it fits really well. Like it makes complete sense now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The only prop that they had was that table, which split into, I think,
Did
six
they have
sections.
chairs as well?
They did. Oh yeah, they did have chairs.
Yeah.
That
was cool.
The chairs were nice to use visually, and they used those in a very interesting way.
Right.
Almost in like a manner that a guard would.
Yeah.
That was interesting to see. And then they took out those the toms and attached those to the long table.
That was cool.
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, they
like
can
being
attach
able
those?
to like unharness yourself and still play. That's really neat.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
I said it like appealed to me that like it sort of looked like Session 44 in a way with all the chairs. But when Bluecoats did it, when they had the tons of chairs in the field, I was like, that's cool. They're using it as like a set, and they're just using them like for movement, and it was a cool effect. But for Jaelyn and Owen, so music, well, the standard of the music, how would you say that was placed?
I thought it was really high. I really liked how they did incorporate it with the theme, the going back and forth. Even the front ensemble was split, and you could see how they were going back and forth with the music in between the different sections. So they incorporated, like, one side would be doing full-on front ensemble runs, while the other would be doing chords, which I thought was really cool because it combined really well together. And for the battery, the standard was set so high. They all worked really well together, was definitely really clean, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, one section I particularly loved with the front ensemble, I'd say probably my favorite part of the entire show. It was, what you were hearing was this constant stream of, I'm pretty sure it was 16th notes. It might have been sextuplets, but it was just constant sound. It was constant runs. But then you look at the pit, and they're each playing like a couple partials of it and passing it between each other. And it sounded like one person was playing it because they were just interacting so like immensely well. And they were able to pass that melody between each other so perfectly. But then visually, it gives you that theme.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just phenomenal. Every single aspect of the show just helped the theme so much. The cleanliness of the drumline was good. The energy that they brought was, I think, would be the standard that they set with how much just aggressiveness you put into your show. Like, you get to that loud portion, and you're at that loud portion, and you can tell that they were at there. You could see it in, like, every part of their body. They're like, I don't want to say they were tense, because obviously they weren't. That's bad playing, but it felt tense.
Yeah.
And they were just so immersed in the music and the performance. It was just phenomenal. So how do you think that the costumes aided in all of this?
I'm completely real. I don't know.
Yeah, me either. I saw like a lot of like the arrows on them, but I sort of didn't really get it at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I it seemed all black, except for those the white on the sleeves.
Right.
So they had a white tarp beneath them with some gray etchings on it. It was their show like logo.
Mm-hmm.
So contrasting.
So it was very contrasting. You were able to see each person very well. There wasn't like a part that blended because, the white on the black, they contrast extremely heavily. They had silver drum wraps, which I think if you're going for that like gray spectrum, I think that hit really well. But then the only piece of color, other than like the bars of the keyboards, was the green top of the table. So just really stark contrasting colors here. And I think that that also just aids in the theme with how they don't fit. They don't fit together. And the costumes with the floor and with their drums, it's just creating that tension, even slightly visually, if it's just some colors that you see.
I agree. So, with that, we'll call it a podcast. So, next week, we're going to be doing an indoor color guard instead. So we'll go Wins, Percussion, color guard, then back to Wins. So next week is West Broward 2018. And yeah, we're switching it to one show so we can all get our input on the same show with certain groups like show choir shows are 20 minutes long. So yeah, we'll call it a day. And that was Owen Kensky, Jaelyn Bray, Gavin Ray, and Mitchell Urban. And we'll see you tomorrow for Sit Down Wednesday, but with Isaac.